All right. And now I'll hand it over to Anna Miller. Anna is the founder of Second Careers, a career consultancy for early career talent that provides online courses and personalized coaching to guide career changes to land jobs in tech.
Thanks so much, Riley.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about your job search and standing out. I'm going to share my screen in a second and we'll get started. So basically, most of you, if not all, have probably been on LinkedIn if you're job searching or a professional in tech. And LinkedIn can be a place that's a little hard to take in. There's a lot happening. People are talking about all kinds of topics. You may be a little newer to tech or maybe a couple years into your career, but either way, in today's job search climate, there's a lot of candidates all the time. And you may be wondering, well, how do I get visibility on me and how do I get people to see that I do have the expertise and experience required? Well, this is where branding comes in. It helps you stand out and it helps you connect with those people that could potentially help you in your job search. So first, we're going to go through something called the job search funnel. So this basically takes the concept of a sales funnel, if you're familiar with that, and frames it in the job search. So a lot of times we start with applications, and this helps us understand who's hiring, where do we focus our attention. Then there's some networking, connection calls, referrals. So this is the place where some of the branding that you're doing for yourself stands out. This is where you're connecting with people. And this is really where my recommendation is that you spend most of your time, because as we all know, applications no longer cut it. Even if you do get enough interviews from applications, they may not be the right companies. So it really varies. The hiring landscape is really all over the place in terms of how companies are doing things. However, if you are newer in your career, it's almost essential that you network and get referrals and kind of chat with people in the industry, because otherwise it's very, very hard to stand out, much harder than if you have years of experience. So given this funnel, essentially a lot of your time will be spent connecting with people and kind of talking about yourself. So essentially, talking about yourself is what gets you visible, and visibility gets you hired. So today we're going to go through the part of the funnel that's a little adjacent to networking. So this will be about branding and talking about yourself in a way that gets eyes on you by those people that actually understand who you're about, because you're sharing who you are and want to help you in different ways. So here are some snippets of people that I follow and interact with on LinkedIn, and people from all different industries usually can use LinkedIn to get hired in tech by building up their brands. You may be asking me, well, what does it mean, a brand? I'm not a company. What am I branding? Well, what you're doing is you're sharing a personal story. You're talking about your background, your skills, your opinions. And if you're doing this consistently, that gets you visible. Another note is LinkedIn rewards people by having their profiles show up more frequently for recruiters when they're doing searches. So if you're posting more consistently, you are creating visibility on a number of levels. One, people you don't know may be finding you that way. Two, recruiters may be able to see you in searches because you're more active. And, you know, in your networking, let's say you just talked to 5 new engineers across 2 different companies. Now they will be seeing your posts and they can get updates on your journey. And if they can help you in any way, your posts serve them as a reminder that you're still searching and want your help. So Sean is a great example. His strategy was commenting. And for a while, he was commenting on almost every post that I saw. lots of determination, and this got him a lot of visibility. So whether you're posting, commenting, sharing, reposting, whatever, people are able to see you because you're active. So the activity does count on LinkedIn, and there's more of a reward there versus, for example, Instagram. I don't know of any rewards you get other than more ads if you keep scrolling, right? So the engagement on LinkedIn is correlated to your growing your network and people finding you. Ashley is someone that I haven't personally connected with, but she posted a lot about her journey and now is essentially one of those LinkedIn influencers and coaches, and has a job in engineering, in UX actually, because she shared about her journey going from a PhD academic background into more of a tech space. So she formed a relationship through posting, and then she was notified of a role that made sense for her, and she did an interview and it made sense. But if she wasn't posting and building relationships with people, she would never be found. So it's up to you. If you want to be more visible, you have the platform to do so. So here's a couple other examples. So I'm a career coach. I founded Second Careers. So my goal is to help job seekers uncover hidden opportunities and become more visible. So one of my clients, Aiden, started posting, and his background is in sales. And he did a boot camp, and now he's looking for his first engineering role. He started posting about his journey. He started talking about where he came from, why he wants to move into tech, how he feels about it. And people that are looking through their feed, see this post, and one of them reached out to him. So whether this turns into a full-time job or not is not kind of the goal here, but it's a connection that can help him in different ways. But he would have never found this connection if he wasn't posting, because maybe Carl, who's a co-founder, doesn't post at all. So we would never be able to find him because we don't really know he's out there. But he saw Aiden's post and he was looking for an engineer and he reached out. So that kind of essentially loop of posting and having people reach out to you is possible if you are visible and talking about yourself. So branding is basically how you connect with other people. So this is not just, huge brands, creating big advertisements. This is individual people talking about themselves, sharing their personal stories and their personal journeys. In your case, you probably share your career journey, your interest in tech, your move into engineering, things like that. So there's a couple places where you'll be sharing that: your profile, your post, and comments and reposts. So these are all the places that you're engaging with people. These are the touch points. These are like your banners and advertisements in the job search process. So branding builds up your networking, and LinkedIn posts essentially builds your brand. But another way to say it is just builds people's understanding of who you are. It's just a public square where you have a space to share who you are, and more people learn about it. There are certain types of people that could be looking for you, that are looking for employees for their companies. So here's an example from Vanessa Vaughn. So she's a career changer, going from a laboratory scientist to engineer. And she's done an excellent job of building her brand because of the way that she consistently talks about her journey. So when she was job searching, she would talk about it. When she was building projects, she would talk about it. She would essentially just explain what was going on in her life. And she did this maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. And therefore, people started following along. And therefore, she built a brand for herself about someone that comes from a biomedical background, going into engineering, that's on the job search, encountering these challenges. So overall, this helped her connect with people and keep her morale up when she was going through the process. Because I think it was at least like 5-6 months that she was job searching, which is not that long, but long enough. So this led her to build a lot of connections. And the job that she found was an application that she did, and it turned out to be a good fit. But because she was branding herself and just talking about herself, she was connecting with people, which means she's building her network, and she has a lot of connections at this point. And then she started getting invited on podcasts, etc. So basically, the more visibility she gets, the higher likelihood that people want to hire her overall, right? Whether it's a cold application or referral or something else. So branding starts with your LinkedIn profile because that's your landing page. It's essentially your home space for your brand. And you want to have a headline that represents what job you want to be doing right now, not, in 10 years or what you were doing 5 years ago, but today, what job do you want to be doing? So if you want to be doing front-end engineering, you want to have a headline that says front-end engineering or front-end developer. If you have a background in sales, if you worked in marketing, you can definitely add some of that flavor into your background, about your background into the headline. But at first, you definitely want to mention the job that you want right now, because that's very important. That's who you're representing yourself as a professional person. After that, you want a narrative in your about section that talks about your story. You want to talk about yourself from different angles, based on the different professional experiences you've had. And you can also add some hobbies and interests, kind of either in between the description or on the bottom. But you definitely want to start the very first couple sentences with your professional identity you want today. So again, if you want to do front-end engineering, you want to say, hey, I'm a front-end developer and I love creating like beautiful landing pages. My background is in XYZ. Today I'm looking for a role that utilizes my knowledge of marketing to build these like new experiences for the front end. So you want to basically craft a narrative that people can relate to, is both professional and personal, and people feel like it's a real human being. I know it may be hard with just words, so maybe some emojis could be helpful. Maybe practicing just like how you would talk about it to a friend, that could be a starting point. But basically, this is the format you can use if you're struggling kind of putting together a story. So we're going to get into posting on LinkedIn. So like I mentioned, posting is important, and this is the key to standing out. So there's two keys. One is networking, which is directly reaching out to people. And the next is posting. So they work hand in hand because LinkedIn, again, rewards activity, and posting helps you keep top of mind for those people you just network with. So it works very well when it's done together. So posting on LinkedIn gets you noticed because you are a unique person, but I don't know you unless you become active and tell me about yourself. So posting on LinkedIn is essentially one of the best ways to stand out because that helps people actually connect with who you are because they get to learn about you. So this is my personal assumptions. These are not proven facts if anyone wants to do this research. But basically, if your LinkedIn profile is like dormant, no one's really posting and you're not connecting, people aren't going to go there because why? They don't know about it. But let's say you're DMing people, so you're sending connection requests, they're definitely going to be looking at your profile. So it's more seen. But then the biggest way to get your profile seen and for people to review your qualifications and see what you're looking for is by posting. Because when you post, people think, oh, who is this person? What are they doing? Or did they get a new job? Or are they still job searching? So basically, it triggers a signal for someone to look at your profile and see who you are. So here is a guideline on how to approach posting. This helps you understand your tone of voice, who you're speaking to, how often you'll post, and then who you're going to engage with, right? So you want to think about these things when you're doing the rounds of growing your network and standing out, especially with following and connecting. So posting is great and is a cornerstone of the strategy. However, when you follow and connect, you essentially get people to kind of see your profile as well. So following and connecting helps you engage with others, which leads more people to see your profile. And when you post, they continue to explore who you are. So in terms of audience, many different people will be your audience. Like I mentioned, it could be founders, it could be recruiters, it could be other job seekers. You don't want to worry so much about your audience as know that like these are potential audience people. What you want to do is focus on sharing who you are in a professional way for people that you know will be either relating with you, like other job seekers, or founders or hiring managers that are interested in people that with your skills. So you want to keep top of mind who you're speaking with or who you're speaking to when you're writing your posts. So a common topic I get asked a lot about is where do you start? What to post about? Well, there's a million things you can post about, but we'll start with a couple here. So the first thing is stories about your skills and projects. So this is very common. It's kind of called building in public or just like recaps of your projects. Basically, just whatever you're doing, imagine you're writing a recap to your boss about what you just did. You kind of turn that into a post. Or you're very excited to launch something, you would turn that into a post. So something about a work project or a skill you're learning or developing, just talk about it from your perspective of how do I feel about it? What did I learn? So another topic, which is a very common one, is job search journey. This could be a very easy one to do because all you got to do is just tell people what you just did. So at the end of the week, you could just do a recap of today I had 100 applications and 5 connection calls. So proud of myself, you know? So it could be short or long, however you want to approach it. But posting it consistently gets people hooked into your journey and they want to follow along. And sometimes some of them will help you through referrals or other connections. A topic that some people might not think about is hobbies or personal interests. So this is not a topic you want to do as the only topic, but in the mix of the other topics, it's actually very helpful. So like I was saying in the beginning, who are you as a person? What makes you unique? What don't I know about you, right? So maybe I know that you want to be a front-end developer and then you worked in marketing, but that's like the tip of the iceberg of like who you are as a person. What do you care about? What do you spend your weekends doing? So you can take some time and write about some of your hobbies and share what you want to with people on LinkedIn, and some of them may connect with you and share similar hobbies. 2 other things which are very easy to start with are shout outs and reposts. So shout outs are, you know, we just did this event. You could say, shout out to Riley and Anna for posting this event. I learned XYZ. Or, you know, we had a connection call and be like, had a great connection call with Anna. So excited to keep in touch, whatever you want to share. So shout outs are just like a summary of your experience with someone. And a repost is just what it is. You repost something and you just kind of talk about what you think about it. So it's a little more complex than a comment, but it's almost like a comment. So instead of writing the actual comment of, oh, amazing post, what about this? You repost it and add your thoughts on top. So we're just going to go down a couple examples. But before we do, I do want to mention that there are a couple of really easy ways to start your post. And 2 of those things are numbers and wins and challenges. So people love numbers. So if you want to hook them in, you could say 100 applications done this week. I'd be like, wow, what is that about? Or 5 lessons I built or something like that. Another thing is wins and challenges. So announcements are great, or challenges are good too. So I'm sure a lot of you have followed people and liked and commented on like new projects that they announced. Similarly, maybe they posted a challenge they were stuck on and you found that engaging. So these are things that you can use to talk about yourself. Two more areas that are essentially great hooks to start your post on is emotion. So everyone feels these things at some point. So you're either happy, frustrated, sad, upset, whatever is happening, you can talk about it in the frame of what just happened. And this creates a context that is very narrative. So a lot of storytelling, and you connect with people right away. So you kind of trigger their emotion too. And the last one is right in the middle of the action. So if you want people to really like become interested in what happened, you can start in the middle of the story. So let's say you were working on a project and it took you 12 times to get something. You could start the actual post with after 12 tries, it finally worked, and then what it was. So these are some examples of how you can start posts in order to get people to be interested in reading them. Here's some examples of the topics we talked about. So open to work is a good one. And I'm happy to send this through in the chat so you can take a look. Here's some for project and skills. This could be in any format you like. The key is to actually post and say something. But if you use a hook, like we discussed, that makes it even better. So it depends on, what you want to start with. Here's some examples on the job search. You can present anything that's happening in like a timeline or a summary, or, something that's emotional that's happening. So you can treat job search updates however you like. So if you have something that you're excited about, you can use that as inspiration to post. Birthdays are great. Personal interest, your personal heritage, whatever it is. Rock climbing, a lot of people tend to like rock climbing, gaming, things like that. So shout outs are pretty simple. Here's some examples. You basically want to thank the person publicly and kind of summarize what you talked about, and maybe talk about any inspiration you got. But usually after an interaction with someone, you can use that as content for yourself. And finally, reposts. Like I said, reposts are your impression of a post, but in like a thought on LinkedIn. So that gives you more activity and allows you to engage with someone and also add your opinion. So one of the things that I want you all to remember is consistency is very, very important. So if you post once a month, that's fine, but it likely will not do anything for you. It'll just be like, oh, this person just came up on my feed. I didn't know they were around. So you want to post, if you don't want to do 2 to 3, maybe once a week, and then maybe to 2, and maybe up to 3. But if you can handle once a week, that will give you a consistent way to be in people's feeds, to build relationships, and to help them learn about you, which is the process of how you actually stand out. So when you're thinking about what to post, we talked about a lot of different topics. You want to vary some of those topics in the different posts so that you are giving people different kinds of information that they find interesting. If you're like, I have no idea what to post every time I sit down, book yourself a half an hour and write a couple of posts and then schedule them. So you can create a backlog so that you don't have to be inspired every time. And lastly, posting during the week in the morning is more likely to get seen and more responses. So if you're inspired on like Sunday at 9 p.m., maybe schedule that for Monday at 9 a.m. In terms of the format, you want to keep it short and sweet. However, if you have a lot to say, go for it. Just, have a hook on top so people know what we're going to get into. And And then feel free to personalize it with emojis, spacing, kind of make it feel like you. So these are the top topics that we talked about. So definitely use these as inspiration. And here's some more topics in case you absolutely can't come up with anything here. Or you want more inspiration as you're like getting further into posting. These are essentially other topics that you can pick up when you're starting to write more about yourself. So one thing is when you post and people engage, you can actually see who they are, and then you can DM them and engage with them. So usually when you start to post more consistently, let's say 1-2 months in, you'll start to see a rise in views on your profile and connection requests, and comments and other things. But these are the main two things. And the thing is, if you engage with people upfront, you can start those relationships earlier. So your posts can serve as a hook for people to engage with you. And then you can reply and DM them. You can literally see who interacted with your posts. So lastly, if you really want to know, like, okay, how do I get like 1 million eyes on me? Use something emotional, not depressing and like, help me. I'm like, need help a lot right now. But kind of a middle ground of, I could use your help. Here's how you can help me. I really appreciate your help. So a little more along the lines of, I could use your help versus I'm drowning right now, because then they can't help you, right? So you want to use emotions in different ways in order for people to connect with you and help you in different ways. But the thing is, you got to like give them something to help you with, or explain how they can help you. So asking for help is great. Similarly, challenging experiences, posting consistently will increase your chances of more people seeing your posts. And of course, depending on how comfortable or open you are to sharing more personal stories, those tend to sometimes get a lot more views because they're a lot more rare on LinkedIn, because it takes real effort to be vulnerable and some skill to kind of put that into words. So not a lot of people do that, but when they do, the community really resonates because we're all humans, so we all want to know how other humans are feeling. So as a takeaway, I'd like to ask that you pick one topic and write one post. I don't know if you want to do it right now, but you could do this after the talk or later this week. And if you want a head start, you can use one of these prompts eventually to get started. So that's it for the presentation. I'd love to open the floor to questions. I know we didn't touch on networking as much in this presentation, so happy to answer any questions if you do have on that. But in terms of posting, it's sort of a hidden, it's like all this impact that you can be having that you don't know you could be having if you're not posting. So I always encourage, especially early career people in tech, to start writing about yourself and really learning to stand out and owning your uniqueness and individuality. And posting essentially helps with that a lot. And then you can have, recruiters and founders find you that way too. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Anna. Do you want people to message questions, or would you like to come to you if you have any questions?
They could just speak up or send it in the chat. Either one. If they speak up, we can have a conversation. So,
one thing I noticed recently that on my LinkedIn profile, it was very plain, like, and I didn't have like a header banner, a picture, or anything like that. Do you think that helps get more views, and like if you have a better like LinkedIn profile, too? Because
Sure.
like
So,
yours looks very nice.
well, I do run a business, so I did take the time, but Vanessa does not run a business, and she does this branding for fun. And she just went on Canva and did something really quick with a title, with probably a template. You could do a screenshot of something you're working on if there's a visual component. You could do something with some of your hobbies as an image, if that's a big deal for you. Be one other person. This person, what's his banner? Mountains. Okay, he likes mountains. Yeah, just find something that's compelling for you, whether it's a banner you create with a title, or something to do with a personal interest or a location you're in, or just visually interesting for you. It could be as simple as just a personal image you like. So this is Spencer. He's new to tech. He created this to highlight that he's a blockchain developer. So if you use Canva, it's pretty easy to do that. They have lots of templates. And then one last thing. This is Sonia. She's a designer. And she likes nature, so she put a flower. But you have another designer that created a banner from some of her portfolio pieces. So it really depends. If you're job searching, I would suggest to do something closer to Spencer's or Vanessa's, so that you have like a reminder of the professional identity you're going for.
Very helpful.
What do you want to change yours to, Riley?
Right now I changed it to my name, so it's not blank anymore, but as far as it goes.
Yeah, maybe there's something you like personally. You're not job searching, so you don't have to like press the point that you're a developer. But I don't know, maybe you're into gaming or like tennis. I don't know. It's your landing page. It's meant to express yourself as a person.
Okay.
Cool.
We do have a question in the chat, if you see that.
Yeah. So I've seen some recommendations to cold message employees at a company with permission to list them as a reference. Is this appropriate? And is there any tips how to write a message? Are you talking about recommendations from someone you don't know? I'm confused with this message.
Hi, yeah, so I just saw a random LinkedIn post where they were saying that you could message an employee at the company that's within kind of the same team as you would be in. I'm just saying,
Oh,
hey,
you mean a
could
referral?
you,
Not a
yeah,
reference.
referral or, yeah, not reference, sorry, that's the wrong word.
Yes, that you do that all the time. I have a whole presentation and, a lot of everything that I teach in the course I run and the coaching I do is about how do you ask for referrals? How do you build relationships? How do you figure out if it's even the right job for you? How can people help you if they can't give you a referral right now because the job's closed or something? So short answer is definitely ask for referrals. There is both an art and a science to it. And the short answer about that is you want to build a relationship and find out a little more about them, their role, if they like their company or not, basically find out stuff about them. And if there is an open role, then you can transition into asking for a referral. But you got to be prepared. So you have like a resume that's like relevant for that role. And you only share that once they do say, yes, I can do that. And if they ask for that, right? Because you don't always have to send it to them. But you can definitely ask. A lot of what I teach in terms of networking is entirely how to do this. But you got to remember referrals are not the only way they can help you. Sometimes, you know, jobs come up months later and you can reach out back out and say, hey, how's it going? You know, and ask for referral then. So relationship building is what you're going for. And with the DMs, and the posts enable you to support those relationships because people that are connected with you will see your posts.
Cool, thank you.
Absolutely.
Anyone else has any questions? You can put in the chat.
And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn if questions come up later.
That's what I was
So
going to ask, if you could share your LinkedIn.
Yeah, I
in the
sent
chat
it
as
in the
well.
meeting chat. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. All right. There's no questions for now. I'll stop the recording. But thank you so much, Anna. That was a lot of great information. I got my notes ready for, hopefully you'll see more posts from me in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you had a unique journey into engineering and in general, you know, now you're part of Women Who Code and all kinds of stuff. So it's good practice for just everything from building up your confidence to like finding your voice to figuring out what do I want to talk about. So
Yeah, definitely.
if you have any interest in kind of like building community, having a network, making your job search easier, any of those things, posting is a great way to do that.
Good. Okay.
Cool. Well, thank you, everyone. You know where to find me. And the deck in my LinkedIn is in the chat. So feel free to use that.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.